Hello everybody and welcome back to the NLC. We're getting ready to go into our second game of the day. This is Bulldog versus NVision. One of these teams will be pulling themselves up above the other after this game. So we'll see how this is going to go.
Yeah, and I think this is an interesting matchup. We just had 2Cups' former teammate in Kenro on the interview desk win his game. So, probably rooting for NVision here. And I think NVision realistically could have walked away with a 2-0 this week, last weekend. I think especially when you take into consideration, I believe it was the Viperio game, they got so far ahead on the top side, but it was just unfortunately their draft kind of let them down. There wasn't enough hard engage into the range that Viperio were running, and it just got away from them. They couldn't force in places where they would like to have forced. Viperio played their distance, they played their range well, and they punished NVision's lack of engage. So let's see if they've learned from that in draft. This time around, we will see a Gwen ban, and Varus isn't going to be on the table either. And let's see how this draft develops. I'm very excited to see how these two teams match up.
Yeah, I think that is a nice ban. We did see, obviously, we had a chat just before the break, and they were like, "No, I should play Gwen," so that's why they weren't picking it up. But probably DBL definitely capable of playing the Gwen, so we're going to get taken away from him. The Ezreal, I'm very glad to see as well. Curious whether or not this is going to be the Akali ban, Lee Sin ban. It's the Nocturne
They weren't
ban.
listening to the broadcast, man. All right, well, if NVision
They
first
were watching
pick,
on mute.
Here's the thing, 2Cups actually, okay, we might see a first pick Viego, maybe it's a hover, we'll have to wait. No, it is a lock-in. So Viego, I think this champion is really, really strong. Dr. Mundo shouldn't be enabled.
It's not enabled. It's not
enabled. So, just a for fun hover. Hopefully we do get to see him next week. But yeah, Viego, very, very strong in the skirmishing department. He just brings so much when it comes to damage. And if he gets on top of you and you're a squishy champion, good night to your health bar, you're probably not going to be able to live for very long. And Bulldog now going to respond with this ever so present Karma, it feels like, as let's see what they will rotate with it. Expecting maybe a jungler, something like the Udyr could come through for Lulus. We'll have to wait and see. Of course, Udyr priority been high, been low. I feel like teams are still kind of in the mode of, hey, when Rumble's banned, we just default to it. Other teams are like, nah, there's better junglers to lock in here.
And one of those packs that people do like to pick up is the Volibear. Great pre-6, post-6 diving potential. The fact that you can turn the towers off of the Stormbringer. It's a nice pickup there. Now we'll see what the rotation is going to be here from NVision. Remember, Viego fairly flexible here. We've seen it top, we've seen it jungle, we've seen it mid. So it could kind of go into any one of those lanes. We'll see what they're kind of looking to go for here. Now that Karma, again, technically also a flexible pick. Normally when we've seen it bot, it's normally paired up with the Ezreal. And the Lulu is actually going to get locked in for prayer here. Now, again, I guess technically flexible to mid, but realistically probably going to be a pickup for Flare. And they might just go for something like a Cogmore here if they really want to go just for a hyper carry.
There's a chance.
I feel like it's a bit dangerous locking a Cogmore in, basically blinded.
They did it last week. They B-freed Cogmore. So, I mean, they're going to go for it again. Karma isn't necessarily locked into the bottom lane though, and that's the thing that's potentially scary, because if you see something like Kai'Sa come out here, and then you're NVision, you have to ban something like Nautilus Leona. The issue is there's still more engaged supports to lock in to go with this Kai'Sa, so you can't really get rid of all of them. We'll have to see what Bulldog actually want to lock in. I'm expecting something either hyperscaly or something kind of aggressive that also scales pretty well. So Kai'Sa, something like the Jhin does kind of fit that profile where you've got the lane prowess. Scales okay, it's not the best in the damage or the DPS department per se, but definitely can lay down a lot of burst and utility. So let's see what Bulldog want to do now, because the NVision picks outside of the Cogmore, they're relatively static. They're relatively versatile rather. They can go into multiple roles, and I mean, hell, even the Cogmore, if you want to get technical, can go into the mid lane, which I think, have we seen an AP Cogmore already? This split, I feel like somebody did it.
Somebody probably has. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, but
definitely not in NLC or UKLC. Yeah, I can guarantee that much.
So, NVision, what are we going to see banned away here? Because if you're going to run the Lulu bottom lane, again, Nautilus, first ban, the most unsurprising thing in the world. Leona likely to be the second one as well, especially when you've got Volibear there. Again, loves to dive towers on these stacked waves. Even pre-6 when you can't turn the tower off, and when you can turn the tower off, it just gets even more oppressive. And for Bulldog, maybe they want to remove Akali. Maybe they actually do, because I mean, you could just go for your support here, unless you're genuinely concerned that Lulu is a flex. But when Preyer's on a team, he likes his enchanters, so you normally think of it like that. Let's see what this last ban for NVision is, though.
I'd be interested to see what they decide to go for here, because it does feel like, yeah, like you said, Preyer probably going to want to play the Lulu. Lulu Cog is also kind of one of those kind of old classic lock-ins. They actually take away the Shen here from Cope's main.
Yeah,
and like I said, this now means the Akali is open if Thomas Go wants to play it. And I feel like it's a really nice pickup here, unless that's a mid Karma and they decided they want to go something like the Fresh kind of pair up with the Jhin.
If you go Akali here, Karma can still go bot. Set technically flexes into mid and bot too. So a lot of flexibility here available to the Bulldog draft still. And I mean, NVision, now they finally kind of have to show their cards. We'll have to see exactly what they want to do. I'm expecting Fuyu on this Kog'Maw, and still kind of expecting Lulu to go into the bottom lane, though it still could end up in solo lanes. And as for the Viego, there's no real telling where it could go until we get these final lock-ins.
Oh, we're going to be finding out any second now as they do look to lock in their final rotation. It's the Karthus. If it's Jauntis in the jungle, I'm assuming. I don't think we're going to be seeing a solo lane Karthus. And the final rotation here now will reveal whether or not this is Viego top or if it's going to be Viego in the jungle. Like we were saying, that Kali is technically open as well.
Yeah, I think it would be too much magic damage at that point. I mean,
Viego top or mid. I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay though. I just glossed over it. You didn't have to bring it up. But hey, it's all right. Sometimes you bring up your own mistakes, and that's how it is. Renekton is going to be the choice of lane here. So Viego, Renekton, both very versatile in the sense of they can be flex between mid and top. And I'm expecting the Renekton to want to go into the set. Of course, you can turn off the Haymaker shield, though you still can't eat the damage, but can be a very positive Renekton matchup. And now for Bulldog, I mean, if I'm Bulldog, I'm probably running Karma in the bottom lane into this Lulu, and I'm picking up this Akali because there is next to no CC or hard CC to stop this Akali from kind of just popping off. It's going to have to be Preyer using these polymorphs to as excellent timing as he can possibly make happen. And I mean, if he's going to be laning into Viego, it's probably, I feel like that's a relatively free lane. You shouldn't necessarily get pressured too hard. The sustain from his kit will definitely start to stack up in comparison to what Akali's got going for her. But at the end of the day, it's not like he's the solo kill master until he hits level 6, and then he's got that extra additional dash.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be an interesting lane. I'm not that familiar with Viego versus Akali at all. So, like you said, I'm gonna trust your word on it. I guess once that Riftmaker comes in for the Akali, you do have a bit of sustain just off the back of the kind of the Omni Vamp you get off the back of that. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about who you're kind of favoring right now. What team do you think kind of got this draft off, or in like the best way, or do you think this is actually fairly even?
It's tough for me to say. I feel like both of these teams kind of got a little bit of what they wanted.
Yeah.
In terms of NVision, they got the Viego pick, they got the Lulu with the Kog'Maw. They've got a fairly strong set of solo laners to supplement the Karthus. And then on the other side of Bulldog, you've got this Jhin, you've got the Volibear, you've got a lot of aggressive tools, diving tools, critically, to try and shut down the Kog'Maw. So I think it's going to be a bit of a game of cat and mouse, especially if Fuyu doesn't get punished in the early game. It's going to be about, can Bulldog shut down this Kog'Maw? And then eventually, they've also got to worry about the Karthus. Karthus will scale up. He will end up being a bit of a menace in this game, especially when you're not really playing against the highest range champions in the game. He's going to be in a position where he can put down a lot of damage.
Well, we'll be loading into the game shortly. It's just been one of those long loading bars where someone's playing on the toaster or an iPad or something. But we'll be getting into the game fairly soon. Karthus versus Volibear jungle is a bit of an interesting one for me here. I feel like Karthus can't contest Crab unless his lanes have maximum pressure.
Yes, exactly. So I expect Lulus to get a double Crab unless something goes horribly wrong in his lanes. As Karthus, he's going to 100% outpace the Volibear in jungle clear and tempo, but Volibear wants to get the pressure. He wants to gank, he wants to deny waves that have stacked up on his side lanes. He wants to move with this Kali over to side lanes as well and try and pick on the Kog'Maw and Lulu, try and pick on the Renekton when it's an option. And he just wants to get the snowball rolling ASAP.
Absolutely. Well, it does look like everything has been resolved. It wasn't a pause or anything. It was just a very slow load into the game. But we are finally on our riff for our second game.
Yeah,
it's hot.
Look, after the first game, I wouldn't blame you for thinking this is the first game that we're having, because quite frankly, you might be able to classify it as the first game that we might have today. As
man, coming out spitting some fire now, dude.
I mean, look, the heat's getting to me. All right, I might be a little more
irritable.
More agitated. Yeah, irritable. I was looking for the word. I was just going to say agitated than usual.
We are finally. I think this is the first Viego of UKLC. We did have it in NLC in the first week. Ooh, I think it was permabanned all of UKLC. So this is the first one we get here in this league.
I'm not going to lie though, I don't like this skin.
No, I don't.
I don't like it. Yeah, it's.
There was a few nice skins from this set actually.
Yes,
but
I will
this
say
was
that.
not one of them.
No. I just feel like the base skin has cleaner animations. They look a little more visible. You'll see, especially once 2 Cups hits level 6 and uses his ultimate, the particles just look kind of strange to me. Let us know what you think, actually.
Do you love it or hate it? I'm trying to think of the other skins from that set. There was the Annie one. I really love the Annie one because the Tibbers looks amazing.
Yeah, it came out just after like the most recent, or was it with like, you know, like the Blitzcrank skin, like the Nasus one as well? It came out.
It was
right
from that set.
right?
It was from the same set.
In that
Annie was in that set as well. It was Annie, Aphelios, Viego. Who else did you just say? There was someone else in that set.
Blitzcrank.
Yeah,
and then Nasus. Also got one of those skins, if I recall correctly.
Nasus is older though.
Was it Renekton
came out,
then?
Nasus came out with Lux.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's right.
When Lux had it. That was Nasus, Lux, and Wukong, I believe.
Okay. Well, returning back to the game. Looks like Volibear Lulus will be taking a nearly full clear down towards the bottom side, and
hello. Hold on. Prayer? Oh my lord.
Well, that's not a great start for the Karma Jin lane. Kog'Maw Lulu laying down some pressure. Fu and Prayer just abusing the level 2 that they reached a little bit sooner, and this could impact the jungle matchup too. If Karthus is allowed access to a Skull Crab, it's pretty huge. As Fonatis always covering for the gank, he knows Lulus, or feels Lulus is going to be here.
Oh, well, the Scout's low. Prayer's going low as well. They might just give the kill to Jacob. He's going to find it. That's first blood. I do believe Lulus was not in range to get the support, as he didn't actually get anything, so... Nope, that was just a solo for Jacob. Oh, well, the Scout got one as well.
Yep. All right, well, technically a successful gank for Lulus. The pressure secured Prayer, but because of the mid lane priority, Quantitis on Karthus into Volibear is about to secure double Skull Crab.
Yeah, the Crab's already been set up by DBL for him as well.
It's heaven. You know, people say jungle gap a lot, right? But realistically, jungle gap is lane gap.
Yeah, lane gap is also jungle gap, so...
No. Okay, no. Let's get this straight. Jungle gap is mid gap, but mid gap is support gap. And support is the most broken role in the game. Anyway, top lane game.
I agree. I'll give you that one as Coates goes to the Haymaker. Crocodile locks him down, and he eats a lot of damage. Is actually DBL dead! Yonta's able to take him out, though.
Props to Coat there as potential gank. Ooh.
That's
flash away from the Shuriken flip. Yeah. Real nice timing there. I feel like Thomas Go, with his own flash available, he would have followed that Shuriken flip if he landed. That would have been the end of 2 Cups, as gank on the top side. DBL, I think, just steps a little bit too far forward. Could have stunned him a little bit further away and would have actually been out of tower range if I'm looking at that correctly. So, slight misstep to secure the stun, cost him his life. 1 for 1. Nice work from Coat Main. As we return to a little bit of a respite. Be curious to see who wants to actually play for this early dragon, whether it's Lulus or Juanitis, who of course got a pretty successful first clear off. Likely, he might. Yeah, I was about to say he's gonna hit level 5 for the Wolves, and he's got his whole bot side yet to clear, so he's fast tracking to level 6. Whereas Lulis got his own Wolves to finish. I think also cleared the Gromp slowly, so that camp's not gonna be up for a little while yet. So Karthus on track for not necessarily an early level 6, but earlier than
speedy one.
Yeah, speedy. We call it speedy, not quite early.
So we did take a quick look at the items as we now hit that 5-minute mark. Boots of swiftness have been finished up for Jacob, so just makes him a little bit quicker. Hornetis now just rocking the double lamp tone, and this isn't quite enough to get him to that level 6, but he is bloody close. One more camp away. Or just soaking a bit of his bot lane's experience is nice little sky splitter there. Will actually stop Hornetis' go for the recall.
Yeah, and Bulldog could be looking for a dragon setup here. They've got mid lane out of Thomas Go, or mid lane priority out of Thomas Go, though the wave should be back in the mid lane by now. We'll see if he starts it up. He will. With the Scout and Jacob should be able to hold priority down there. And this should just be a pretty free pickup as one to go back to base. So no contest here from NVision.
Yeah, it's just going to get himself a lost chapter and continue to farm up. I think if you're the side of NVision, that's the first time I've done it today. That's the first time. All right. If you're on the side of NVision, I think they're okay giving up that dragon, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world. And Hornetis is just waiting in the fog of war, maybe expecting a little something. Was just about spotted out as they get the slow down onto Thomas, and I think it was just him helping 2 Cups shove the wave in. I think that was the game plan. As Thomas actually jumps straight in after 2 Cups and just pulls the trigger. Okay, Akali's broken. Thomas takes himself an easy kill. What the hell?
He probably could have done that without Lulis too, and that's the very, very scary thing. Just a blasting one, by the way, guys. Let's just remember. No Rift Maker, no healing, true damage available to the Akali either. So
you in range of perfect execution, then you're probably gonna die.
Trade offer. I receive Akali, you receive defeat screen. Like, I don't know what else to say. Champion, like. Yeah, Thomas Go did a good job. Either way, can't take it away from him. Knows this champion's limits. And 2 Cups just oversteps his mark.
When you say know this champion's limits, do you mean knows that you'll die in one combination?
Yeah.
That's not, you're not pushing any limits there, buddy. You're just killing them.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But okay, Bulldog rotate up to the top side here. A little bit quicker than Fuyu and Prayer. Let's see if they try and go for a pretty on-spawn Rift Herald. The gold, considering the kill score and how some of the lanes have gone, surprisingly close to being even. Feel maybe a lot of that being made up in the jungle. So if we could actually get a quick cover of the gold, curious to know where it's actually coming from. 400 in the top side for Bulldog's co-plus main as A.
They have found him here. He's got a fairly large haymaker, and that's going to go pop. Easy pick up. The slam comes down, and here is the Requiem.
Oh.
Not even actually necessary. That's a pretty lengthy cooldown. Doesn't really do too much damage to those on the Rift Herald as well. So Dragon and Rift Herald now in favor of Bulldog. And they might be looking for a Bulldog here, actually. They got the rotation as Prayer slowed down. Have to flash away. The Tevil will pop just before.
I've got to say, I think DPL should have just donated that kill over to Hornetis once he sees the Requiem coming down. Such a lengthy cooldown that normally when Karthus is in the game, if he casts it, you just give him it. Give him the resources. Give him the gold. Only slight, of course, they still secure the kill. It's not the end of the world or anything, but certainly do want Karthus to get the ball rolling on his end. As I've said, Herald picked up on the top side in response. See what he gets done here as, oh no, this could be a dangerous face check.
Yeah, I mean, that's a dead Lulu. It does get a little bit of damage off of the Will of the Scouts. The Tether is broken and the Lulu is free. Ow.
That's really surprising. I guess they just didn't want to chase into the choke, into the Karthus spot. I feel like Jacob and Will the Scout could have just laid Hellfire over the wall and not really had to commit much else to it. Definitely a little bit scared there, in my opinion. I guess maybe worried about the wild growth, the exhaust as well. Only things I can imagine. Yeah, respectable. As I actually think from Thomasco's build, he's not going to be going Riftmaker. He's going to be going Rocket Bell or Night Harvester.
We did used to see a bunch of Night Harvester when Akali kind of returned into the meta after the changes, so it's not an awful item on her. Obviously, the Rocket Bell gives you a little bit more mobility. But then again, does Akali need more mobility?
Does she need an extra dash for the 6 she already has?
Yeah. And I mean, like, also, Night Harvester gives you your Mythic passive is Ability Haste. So Ability Haste equals more dashes anyway.
Yeah, I mean, but Akali's a champion that isn't really gated by haste.
Yeah,
right. She likes it. Don't get me wrong. No one dislikes Ability Haste. But when you're talking about Akali, you normally think about flat pen or just percent damage, right? It's always been the case of Akali's build. Cute from Prayer. Skull secured. And I mean, honestly, when we talk about Karthus is going a little bit unchecked, it's one of those games. 90 CS at 11 minutes isn't too bad.
And I mean, also to be fair, for you, not in the worst position.
No.
They are looking to try and put this Rift Tail down. So, kind of just harking back as Jacob loses a lot of health. No Requiem. Actually, Requiem's up. All it really takes is one last ability to land. If that spitted hit, Jacob might have died. They're just going to shove the wave in and look to try and turn their attention towards this dragon. If we look at either an Ocean or a Cloud Soul for this game, again, teams that don't really care about that Cloud Soul as Prayer, it's going to get rooted up momentarily. And honestly, it's going to start up the dragon. It looks like we're in for some action as mid laners are both rotating over. Lulus can just jump the wall. So this dragon's going very, very low. They're going to come on the Fuyu. They're going to look for an easy pick up. Prayer tries to jump away, dodging away on the curtain call. The dragon has been secured. Thomas jumps into the back line, and here comes the Requiem. Thomas is going to get popped, and Bulldog lose members.
Yeah, Bulldogs do lose the Akali. And honestly, Thomasco actually, I think, misplayed that. I think he didn't actually hit the perfect execution or one of the 5-point strikes. Would have secured Fuyu.
I'm not sure about that one, buddy. DBL's got the slice, he's got the dice, and Jacob has to heal.
Oh, okay. He's fine. I made a noise thinking that curtain call was about to come out, but there was no more curtain call. So the skirmish we just had.
I thought you said Kermit cool. I just pictured Kermit the Crab.
He is getting to you, isn't it, Jake? Because replay here.
I'm in a fever dream.
As we see Prayer, Wild Growth just about stays in that 4th shot, also doesn't connect. And you see one 5-point strike, I believe, missed, and also the perfect execution definitely did. As Fuyu survives with his life. And the Bulldog, even though they secure 2, they lose out on the dragon. As eventually Will the Scout also drops to DBL, just resetting in a smart place. Fuyu also plays the bait well. Pick themselves up a kill.
Got a bunch of plates in the mid lane as well, which is nice for them. So even closer to Two Cups losing his towers. It's actually now Fuyu who's rotated over there. Fuyu building towards the Witch End as the first item, so not going Kraken Slayer quite yet, as Jacob just going to get a little bit of damage off. And wow, that bouncing grenade.
It killed all 3
a couple of kills, yeah.
Yep. Also, Lulu's just not got a lot of HP. So.
Right. This is painful for
interactive, perhaps.
Oh, I assume actually, I completely forgot. It's actually a Mortal Shield Bow, isn't it? That you pick up
for Cogmore.
Yeah.
I mean, builds vary. I know this is a Wit's End rush at the moment.
Oh yeah,
Shield Bow
Kali and a Karma.
Yeah, so Shield Bow can come through. Typically, we see a lot of like tank more, right? So the Shield Bow followed up by Randuin's. Obviously, sometimes the Wit's End rush, sometimes other item rushes too. As Fuyu throws up the well played and the dance and the happy bee. All right, he's won me over. So he may not win over this game in its current state. Though, Cogmore, Karthus, a lot of scaling. NVision, they're not being pressed off of too many resources just yet.
And they picked up that last dragon. So they slowed down the soul condition. It bought them some time.
Even if there was, again, it's Cloud, which isn't crazy oppressive. It's just a kind of soul that you don't really feel like giving over, but sometimes you can afford to, unlike things like the Mountain or the Infernal.
And I mean, if you're Hornetis, you're happy to get at least 1 or 2 of them just to get a little bit extra haste on your ulti.
Yeah.
It's not about the effect of the soul. It's just about actually just getting a bit more haste. So, you know, not the end of the world if they do lose it. If they get it, it's got a few okay benefits for them. Because Hornetis actually, we get a little bit of damage off. Andrew's kind of burning Lulis out a little bit, and Coates is going to be able to take down this tower. Not really going to be too much that anybody's going to do about that one. The gold lead is swinging in favor of Bulldog right now. Starting to stack up, but you do have to kind of keep in mind it is a Cogmore, it is a Karthus, so as we get later and later into the game, it can get a little bit more scary. You see the individual golds between the players on your screen right now. Jacob does have a pretty nice lead, 900 gold over his counterpart, and it's almost it's exactly a 1,000 gold lead over 2 Cuts and Thomas Go right now.
2 Cups. We haven't really spoken about it much on this Viego. He's had a bit of a quiet one outside of the death, which realistically, that was just the Kali being broken. So
yeah,
it's very quiet for man in the mid lane for NVision. As Dragon's 30 seconds away, Bulldog, they're staying up around the objective. It seems like they want to put priority onto this one. They know NVision, realistically, they're not quite ready to fight for this one. As what did you catch? Yeah, he's trying. He wants to reset, but Bulldog doing the correct thing. They're even going to rotate down here to 2 Cops, who just shouldn't be here right now.
I think that should be enough for him just to put the old harrowed path down, and he's going to try and make his way out, but he spotted Hearthbreaker into the Deadly Flourish. The Curtain has been called. Kind of unnecessary, but enough to find the kill. The Rift Tail's going to get the charge off, and the tower will be soon to follow as well. This is the 3rd tower for the side of Bulldog. And they've still got another charge to work with. They're not all that fussed about securing the dragon yet, because they want to get this charge. They want to try and stack a little bit more of the snowball in the gold department. This Prayer will find the set here. Has to be a little careful as he gets stride breaker onto. Ults himself as the slow's coming out, and they did a lot of damage. His shield's there. Deadly Flourish is going to lock down Prayer. And Coach just able to survive that. Fuyu did do a fair amount of damage though, so that was a little bit of a scary thing of what could potentially come.
Oh, it's going to be so long until we get some of those scary moments. Now, not a lot of tools already blown. The Curtain Call is not really the most necessary engage or fight tool for this Bulldog draft 2 functions. Oh, hold on. Jacob just ran into Hornetis.
Yeah, though he's unable to land himself any of those lay wastes, so he's okay, but the teleport's coming in, and Thomas Go is on the flank.
This could
be Bulldog's opportunity. Fuyu's just trying to finish the tower off as they jump over the wall, slamming DBL into everyone. Fuyu continue to fire off, but the face breaker into the Haymaker. DBL jumps away, and Hornetis will lose his life. Fuyu's next to follow, and the Requiem comes down as the triple kill is secured. Thomas Go is shut down by Fuyu. But that is a disgusting trade in favor of Bulldog. 4 for 1.
And Carly's fed again. We know what that means, Jake. So, all right, I'm not going to joke about it. NVision, yeah, just caught off guard by this flank. They kind of, it looks like they want to try and chase into the bottom side jungle of Bulldog to maybe strip away this blue buff. Very questionable decision. Very aggressive decision to make. And they get punished for it heavily. Thomas Go didn't even teleport to find himself in that position. Just, I believe, came from the bottom lane and it's the teleport ready for the set, and it made the fight all the more easier. That's the thing. NVision, they don't really have insane pure tools. They've got Lulu, they've got Karthus, who is kind of tough to run into sometimes, and that's about it. But when you dive really quickly, like the likes of an Akali, like the likes of the set where it's, you've got the face breaker, you've got the Haymaker shield, and of course the ultimate suplex as well. It doesn't really matter if you get pincered from multiple fronts. One of your carries is dying, especially if there's no summoner spells available. Fuyu's life just gets so much harder.
Just looks like now for the side of NVision, they are just chilling. They need to get some time. They need to get some gold. They've got that scaling option, but The last couple of plays have not been going in favor of them at all. As DBL, you're on the wrong side of the map. You have no tower. Dominus is going to get popped, but he is locked down in place. Looks for Will the Scout, a potential assassination target, and he does a lot of damage, but the slam is enough just to save his life.
Well, Ordering Cast plus Renekton, you can still get moments like those every now and again. Very close from DBL. A valiant effort, to say the least, but too many members for him to take on, unfortunately. And isn't even able to at least try and get a flash out of that scenario. But hey, not much more you can ask for. And Bulldog weren't quite able to make anything else happen on the side of the map either.
Now, 2Cups is now looking for Coates. He's going to lock him down. Does a fair amount of damage, actually. There's 2Cups now getting jumped onto. Eats that Facebreaker, uses the Heartbreaker, and now he's getting turned onto. Coates able to find the kill. Hornetis will look to try and turn this around onto the set, and slowly but surely cook him. No, he won't. He goes down. The Requiem's coming in. They're trying to save the day as Will the Scout will lose his life, but this is Bulldog favored. The teleport's coming in, and DBL just realizes he does not want anything to do with the big bear. And Bulldog just absolutely smack NVision about.
Yeah. It's hard to analyze stuff like that because the set's just really fed right now. Don't know what to say. 2Cups just overestimating his damage. He felt himself. He got that first initial combo off. He's like, man, I deal damage. And then Set started punching him in the face a lot. And even Hornetis comes over, not quite able to find enough lay waste. And the foul damage just isn't quite there to finish him off before he drops 2. Makes it a 2-for-1 in the end. As get the replay going. And you just see, this initial burst of damage just makes 2Cups think, hey, I can win this skirmish. But then he forgets that he's a Mercury Treads, Blade of the Ruin King champion, who is basically just walking HP into the set. And here, just one missed lay waste means that Hornetis dies. Let's get the Requiem down to at least lock up the Karma on the opposite side of the engagement, but Bulldog just winning out on all sides of this fight. And I don't even think Thomas Go wasn't a part of it either, so just goes to show how far ahead Bulldog are at the moment. As let's see what exactly Bulldog can get done with this Baron buff. Very far ahead already. You'd expect to see them try and strip away the final inner towers. And maybe even ignore this dragon. I think if you go for this dragon, it's a bit of a waste of time. So I'd like to see them just try and push in the lanes here. There is a lot of poke to worry about, but I think, honestly, you've got enough poke of your own to throw out from the Karma and from the Jhin. And you've got a lot of dive threats. So just take your time. It's got 2 minutes left on this Baron. Just play out these 2 lanes.
Yeah, they're looking to take it chill as for you. Not even got that Rage Blade finished up compared to the Serpent's Fang, Gale Force, Zeal onto Jacob, the gold lead. Pretty big right now as here's the curtain call. Someone needs to block it for Hornetis. 2Cups is going to take that one. He's going to take the next as Lulis is just speeding in forwards. Hornetis just able to survive that onslaught. And Vee does do a lot of damage already. Look at that damage just to Jacob, just chunking him out.
I mean, yeah, let's not forget, he is a Kog'Maw at the end of the day. And Kog'Maw, well, he's a champion. When he is a champion.
Good.
When he wants to be.
Good breakdown of the game.
When he wants to be a champion, Jake, I promise you, he is a champion. And of course, he got a lot of shadow buffs over the last couple of patches. Well, not shadow buffs, just flat out buffs, which have brought him, you know, sort of into the meta, on the cusps of, you know, being relatively viable on a near consistent basis. The only thing is that you do have to build compositions around him. For now, Bulldog, they say, I don't think we can get any more out of the siege. You've got the 2 inner towers that were still standing. We can play the long game right now and see if NVision make any slip-ups. But they do have to be concerned. Deathcap finished off with Hornetis, and the longer the game goes on, the more items this Kog'Maw does get. He will have the support of a Lulu in his back pocket, so things can get scary if they can't find, you know, some of these nice flank angles for the Akali, for Thomas Go, for Coke Plus main. Take down these high-value targets.
We're only 25 minutes in as well. It just feels like NVision just really struggling to keep themselves afloat right now. But we've seen a tease. We've seen the potential kind of preview of what they're capable of doing. You can see the damage dealt right now on your screens. Fair amount coming out from that Cogmore. More damage coming out from him than Jacob. Also, a lot of damage coming out of Jonatis as well on the Carpus. So there is the opportunity, but the Fangs are coming in, the teleport's on, and Fuyu's getting chased onto. He's just going to go the long way up, and Prayer will sacrifice himself to the side of Bulldog. But actually, no, he's able to survive with his ultimate. Did burn himself his flash, but all things considered, it could have been worse. Oh no, he's gone. Sorry, what? Yeah.
Volibear eats yodels for breakfast. Or dinner now, I suppose.
Oh, dinner time now. And
It's about dinner time now.
That's actually pretty rough now. Losing the Lulu is actually a bit of a nerf to your combo damage. As Lulis is coming in, he's going to turn that tower off. Fuyu's trying to fire off and do some level of damage. Lulis is going low. The Requiem's coming down. Gets himself the shutdown with a burn. And the health bars are a little bit low, but now Thomas Go might find himself forced out as 2 Cups is jumping in. The perfect execution's there. There's the Shuriken flip. There's the flash, and the blade of the Ruined King will seal the deal.
Big shutdowns to pick up, but they are still 7,000 gold. The difference between these two teams, even after these huge shutdowns. It's a mountain. It's a mountain to climb back, but when you've got a champion like Cogmore in the game, when you've got a champion like Carthus in the game, things can get tricky to close out, especially when you don't have crazy amounts of siege. Fuyu, it's the kind of moment where you look at a Cogmore and you think, is he going to flash forward? In this case, it might be a flash away angle.
Just able to actually get himself the speed up. He's looking to come forward, comes in for the flash. Jacob has to flash away as well, but now Wither Scout almost low. One last spit would have been enough for you. Starting to get a little bit scary now.
This is the thing, I literally said it. It's the kind of angle where you look at the Cogmore and you think, he's going to flash forward. Didn't do it initially, did it after the burst traded back and forth. So Yukonis is just locked up underneath the tower. Does die, but it's Carthus. He's still allowed to cast some spells, still allowed to cast his Requiem, and it does a fair amount of work as well. And I think also helped out in the bottom side 1v1 for 2 Cups. The damage, I think, probably brought Thomas Go over the edge. Means that he dies in that 1v1. And NVision, they hold strong. They hold strong for now. The base isn't cracked open. And things, whilst they may look bleak in the immediate, they can hold out. There is hope.
Jacob looking for Fuyu, but Fuyu actually finds Jacob. Jacob now realizing that he is not as strong as he was versus Fuyu. The curtain has been called though, and DBL just going to tank up a couple of shots. The teleport's coming in, and Fuyu might be in trouble. He's the one getting jumped onto. He's isolated from his own team, and he will lose his life. Coates able to take him down, and Thomas is going to get the slam back as he is taken out. 2 Cups is there. That's the Heartbreaker. Over the wall, 2 Cups goes. He slides back in. He's an Akali now, and he's going to take out Wither Scout. One last Heartbreaker as he jumps in, gets himself the double kill, steals away the next form. He is looking for a little bit more. DBL's on the run. 2 Cups is over the wall, though, dealing the damage to Coates. Coates is doing a bit, though. Coates locks down the members, and this is Bulldog coming out on top of the fight. It was an absolute slugfest, but the Bulldog are the one to come out on top.
Bulldogs do come out ahead in this one, and they should be able to lock up the Baron. And you saw the potential of Viego there as well on the back end of the fight, just stealing form after form, becoming so pressured, unvulnerable, untargetable, healing up, and now actually...
They got the Requiem. He's feeling it. He's feeling hype. He does a lot of damage. Lilith is low. 2 Cups has to stopwatch for the moment. Can't survive this, but he stops the Baron crucially.
Yeah, okay, all right. You know, questionable, but if it stops the Baron, it's all right. What it might not stop is the soul takedown potentially, but with no jungler, NVision are kind of in the area. They're not working with a lot of vision, so they may feel scared to check into it. We'll have to see how this one plays out. It's just a Cloud Soul at the end of the day, so maybe NVision just say, hey, let's go over to this Baron side. Let's pressure it. Let's die up even. Oh, this is...
It's quick.
It's audacious.
It's quick, but it's not tanked is the problem. So yeah, they're going to be low.
All right, quick breather. I think Bulldog should just secure this Cloud Soul, though, on the backside of all of this topside shenanigans. And yeah, I mean, again, Carthus, he's going to scale. And it's the same for the Cogmore. As long as the Viego stays alive, he can just steal the form. All he's got to do is damage them, don't forget. All he's got to do is be a part of the takedown. I can't remember what the timer is specifically, because I know that you can get assists on kills and not actually have a form there to siphon. But as long as he is given a reset, if somebody takes down Volibear, somebody takes down the set, all of a sudden you're piloting a really strong champion to reset on because you've got such powerful basic abilities in these kits, and you just become so oppressive, healing, AoE damage, just so hard to deal with.
The Cogmore slowly working towards the tank more now. Got the Mythic coming in, which honestly, the reason I paused there was because I forgot the name of it. Immortal Shield Bow. There we go. Got the Immortal Shield Bow coming in. It's a fairly tanky build as well for the Viego with the Divine Thunderer. Jonas has been sitting on this death cap for a fair amount of time. About to hit level 16, so we'll get that 3rd point in the ulti, and that is going to really start to hurt. Also should be fairly close towards the next item as well, as he has had that death cap for a pretty serious amount of time at the moment.
He's going for Void Staff. That would be my best guess.
I assume so. He is now level 16, so that is max points in the Requiem. As little cooldown as possible, as much damage as possible. I mean, with the death cap, it's a lot. How much AP has he got? I didn't see if we got to have a look there.
Probably got about 550.
Yeah, probably.
If I had to give it a guess. Observer, can we check how big my brain is?
572.
It's going to be about 4. It's actually going to be about 480.
Oh.
Unless he bases right now and buys a Void Staff.
Yeah, he buys a Void Staff. There you go. He's got a stopwatch as well. They just caught him on that reset, so they might be feeling this Baron, and it's not particularly slow from Bulldog.
I mean, but there's no true DPS though. It's a lot of burst. So let's see. NVision have to check into a lot of fog, as we just saw highlighted. So it's dangerous walking through these chokes, but if Bulldog overchase, they don't immediately burst down a member and they start trying to lock down members inside of these chokes. Karthus, Cogmore, they both come online. Viego, if he sees an opportunity to jump in and get a reset, he will take it. And if he starts to get those resets rolling, the fights become easier for Cogmore and Karthus as well.
Looks like Lulus is coming in, he's speeding into Fuyu. They're trying to get the lockdown. There's not enough survivability. That is their dead AD carry. That is the survival damage coming out. They do get one member very, very low. Jacob has to be careful. DBL's going to tank a bit of this damage for the moment. Jonas is unable to really do too much as DBL's putting some damage out. Jumps in onto Jacob with a slice. Thomas comes in and takes him out though. And now it's all on 2 cuts. He has to do all of this work. The Requiem is available any moment now as Thomas goes for the stopwatch. Locked in place. And that's going to be a big Requiem. The health bars are low. That's 2 cuts jumping in forward one more time. Trying to steal away with that Kali form. Almost gets the damage off, but he's locked in place. And that is Jacob taking him down. Bulldog just mill through the side of NVision, taking out all 5 and only losing their mid.
2 cups just barely misses out on the execution, and honestly, there's a chance he could have just taken down everybody on those resets, just because of the bizarre nature of this champion. But seems like Bulldog, they're finally going to close out here. They get a clean ace. They do lose.
Fuyu's back.
They now lose Will the Scout as well. And I think just the pressure of losing Will the Scout might be enough to force these guys away. They don't want to go any harder than necessary, so they're just going to go back and secure the Baron, it seems like. But I mean, DBL doesn't have teleport. It's just going to have to be Fuyu. They're not even going to do the Baron. Wow. So just the mid lane inhibitor being taken here.
One thing to note as well is, hopefully we'll get a replay of that fight, but that started with Lulus flashing onto Fuyu's face. Sure, Fuyu was probably in front of his team and where he shouldn't have been, but they don't have flash now, so that play's not actually doable for a little bit until they can kind of flash back onto Fuyu. That was what won them the fight, was the fact that they just instantly blew up the carry. But they might just look to jump onto Fuyu no matter what here. Hostess main has to be quite careful, as going to get slowed down. Lulus gets sped up momentarily. Very low Baron as DBL jumps into the middle of everyone. Looks for the lockdown, looks for the slam down. As that is going to be Coach able to survive everything. And instantly, they are melted.
They're gone. No one's alive.
Thomas gets a quadra kill as Lulus was secure the ace. Bulldog just obliterate NVision.
I have never seen in a competitive game 5 members of a team just disappear. Just vanish off the face of Summoner's Rift.
They just got Houdini. Not Houdini.
Houdini.
What's his name?
Houdini. Houdini. Come on, man. I mean, look, it took a while, but Bulldog, they finally closed out. What a crazy set of events. The pressure that NVision's composition was putting down, despite the gold deficit, was quite honestly kind of impressive. Cogmore, Karthus, you know, the revive passives, the amount of AoE that they deal, the threat of Viego resets as well. It's just so much damage coming out from them. And even DBL on the front line tanking up a fair amount, but eventually it just came to a point where we saw there, Kali is too strong. The set finally found a really nice suplex, and everyone just disappeared. And there was nothing else to really say about it. NVision, they held out strong, but unfortunately, Bulldog, I feel like they just had too many strong opportunities given to them to try and close out this game.
You're a wizard, Bulldog. What can I say? Beautiful stuff. Now we're going to whip out our wands and Accio break. We'll be back with a breakdown of that action and that game in a moment. See you in a moment.